Do your viewers believe that you have the answers that they are looking for? How about your prospects? How about your clients? Do they believe? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about 4 super simple methods to create that belief, to create trust, to help people believe you. I ain't going to teach you how to manipulate people. That's not what this channel is about. That's not what I'm about. Honestly, the way I'm about to teach it to you, I don't think you can do this without genuinely caring about the people that you're trying to make believe you. See, if you can explain someone's problems to them better than they can explain them to themselves, they're gonna assume that you have the answers to their questions. And honestly, if you have anything to say or sell, this is super powerful. We just need to be crystal clear on what their actual problems are. Let me take that one step further. There are 3 things that you really got to be able to say. First of all, you got to be able to say what their real problem is. What's keeping them up at night? What's the biggest pain in their lives? The biggest struggle? What is holding them back? 2, you got to tell us, what do these people really want? What is their big dream? Well, what's the dream behind the dream, right? What is the biggest thing that they really want right now? And 3rd, can you say both of those in their own words? Not the way you want to say it, because I know you probably have a slightly different way of explaining things because you're the expert. You've got experience. You're bringing that all to the table. You might even use like technical jargon that they would never use. But I want you to be able to say it the way that they would say it to themselves, because when you do that, something super magical happens. And listen, this is $1 million skill. I'm not joking. Really, it is. I was just talking to a business consultant this morning who works with multi-million dollar businesses. And this is exactly what we talked about. When we can talk so clearly about our target audience's problems, pains, and desires and dreams, they will be astonished, like you're reading their mind. And the magic that happens there, the technical word is called positioning. You've positioned yourself to be the ideal solution for them, the ideal guide, the ideal provider. You're the one. You just became one of a kind when you say things that clearly, because no one knows them like you know them. Again, it's like you read their mind. So here's 4 super simple ways to pull that off. So I'm gonna go from the least personal ways to do this to the most personal ways. And way number 1 is to ask Chat. So I love doing this so much, by the way. I will tell ChatGPT everything I know about my viewers. Tell them everything I know about the people that I'm trying to reach. So you gotta tell ChatGPT stuff like this. Where do they live? What podcasts do they listen to? What books are they reading? Do they have kids? No kids? How old are they? What kind of jobs do they have? What do they believe? Do they go to church? Do they believe our world is broken? Do they believe everything is okay in the world? Do they believe everything is not okay? I don't know, you just go off. By the way, the easiest way to put that all into ChatGPT quickly and easily is to just hit the microphone and say, "Hi, ChatGPT, I'm doing some research on my ideal viewer, on my ideal client, on my ideal customer. And I want to tell you everything I know so that you can give me some insights." Push enter, ChatGPT will be like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, tell me all about it." You hit record again and you dictate for, you shouldn't try to do more than 5 or 8 minutes. ChatGPT will get confused or kind of lost. Maybe. And I also mean use the microphone, not the headphones, unless you got that advanced voice mode. I didn't get it yet. I'm a paid person. I'm paying for ChatGPT too. But use the microphone and talk for probably no more than 8 minutes, because it does get kind of wonky and sometimes lose your messages if you go over 8. So watch it after you pass 5 and just keep an eye on the time. But do just talk freely. And ChatGPT is smart enough to understand you, even if you stumble over your words, if you take long pauses, if you have to think, if you go back and say, wait, actually it's not like that, it's actually more like this. ChatGPT is a great listener and it will help you. And then what you do, once you've told it all that stuff, ask ChatGPT, hey, what are the pain points and the problems that this person has that a person like me could help them with? And by the way, just a reminder, what do I do? If you've never told ChatGPT what you do, you're gonna tell it what you do at that point and how you got into it, a little bit of your backstory, and it'll start to connect the dots for you a bit. And my biggest piece of advice to you there is Once you get that going, ask it to tell it to you in that person's own world. Think of what that person's thinking, feeling, and have that person explain their problem to you in their own words. Have that person explain what they want to you in their own words. So there you go. That's the most impersonal way that you could get this done. Oh. Hey, we're on the ground. Would you look at that? Isn't that crazy? But let's say you don't want to talk to ChatGPT, and I get it. But hey, write ChatGPT in the comments if you use ChatGPT, because I think it's an amazing tool that creators should be using. So here's a slightly more personal way to find out what your people are thinking and to read their minds so you're perfectly positioned. By the way, when you're perfectly positioned, price becomes a lot less relevant. They'll be willing to pay a lot more. Why? Because there's no one that gets them like you get them. And honestly, you did the hard work of figuring out exactly what their real problems are. There is something to be said about that. So the second thing you could do is survey. And what you do is you take your 4 best guesses at what their pain points are and say, hey, which one of these is the biggest problem for you? And then you just write out all 4. Now, you could deliver this a lot of different ways. You could put it in a type form. You could put it in a Google form. You could put it in an email. You could put it in a Facebook post. You could put it in an Instagram story with a poll. You could put it on YouTube in the community tab with a poll. It doesn't really matter, but you just put it out there, and you could ask that about what they really want. Hey, which of these do you want the most? And then you take your best shot at explaining it in their words. And then you do it again. Take the best guess, or take the winner, and put it up against some other candidates. You'll get a lot more clarity because you're actually talking to the person at this point. Yes, ChatGPT is super genius and is very intuitive and really understands people pretty well. But to understand your people, it is best if you ask your people, because ChatGPT is not your people, it's a simulation of your people, right? But speaking of your people, what's better than surveying them through some electronic form? Well, talk to them. Get around them and just listen for things that they're saying that are hard and things that they're saying that they really want in life. And you don't have to ask directly about these things, but if you go to networking events or if you host an event, you do a Zoom call. By the way, join my Zoom mastermind calls. I genuinely care and I want to help you. And when I'm trying to get you to believe me, it's not just about getting more views or to sell you more things. It's really so that I can help you, because that's where my heart really is as a business coach. So Monday Masterminds, they are free twice a day on Monday every week, link in description. But seriously, if you just get around your people in real life or online, you will learn a ton. They will say stuff and you will hear stuff and you can take notes, and it's going to be super valuable for you. And by the way, these don't have to be your calls. They could be other people's calls. These could be other people's events. So just hang out where your ideal people hang out. Go to places and meetings where they hang out. And last but not least, and I'll put this one last because I know some of y'all are shy, but you could just ask them. For real, it's so simple, but a lot of people have a complex about it. Oh no. Would you ever ask your ideal customer or your ideal viewer, hey, what's your pain point? Or what are you really wanting out of life right now? And by the way, the more open-ended you put these questions, it can be a lot more helpful when you leave it super open-ended. Why? Because when we ask questions, the way we word it affects the way people answer. But if we give them a very open-ended question like, hey, what's your biggest problem right now? Hey, what do you want most right now? They're gonna really get to, if they're being honest with you, they're gonna really get to what they really want and what they really think is a problem. And it might not be what you think. They might not have a problem with their social media, with their dog, with their child not eating food. Oh, that might really be it. Even if you're not like a food, child, toddler therapist, let's say you provide B2B services, like, I don't know, you fix computer networks, you're an IT person. If one of their biggest problems is the toddler won't eat, you can come with sympathy and empathy and be like, listen, I know life is busy and it gets tough. The last thing you need is a network outage, because wouldn't you rather be at home with your toddler? You and your family will get a lot more time out of you troubleshooting your toddler learning to eat her carrots versus troubleshooting your computer network and your Linux server, which, by the way, Both are pretty overwhelming. One of these you can hand off to us and we'll do it for you completely and you won't have to worry at all. So you can spend your time where it really counts. See, we want to hit people where they actually live, where they're actually thinking, what they're actually doing. I was definitely not good at talking to people when I was a child, when I was in school, when I was in university even. No, keep the people away from me. You know what most find even harder though than speaking to people? The one thing that most of us find even harder than talking to people, honestly, it's talking to the camera. And if that's you, watch the next video because I'm gonna share with you my 3 biggest tips for talking to the camera and making it feel fun and natural. So don't miss it. I'll see you there.